Talk TKD.
Excellent.
Thank you. That's the third time he tried to do the jingle, and he's just not happy with all of them. So I'm just going to let him do it next time. I'm in a huff.
I'm sorry, mate. I aim for perfection, but like, I will upload the first one onto YouTube for you to hear it, and maybe you might.
It's more like Squawk TKD. Talk TKD.
Nice. Good evening, all. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, or morning if you listen to it in the morning.
That's true.
Or in Australia.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 7 of Talk TKD. Obviously, we've had the Stefan Tapilatu interview. We've had Master Ray Gale interview. So we're going back to the old school for this one, just you and me.
Yeah.
We've got a few interviews lined up as well. Be good.
Ooh, that's news to me too.
Well, I keep my my hand close to my chest, as it were. Taekwondo. Yeah.
What's happening?
What's happening in Taekwondo?
Well, we just had the Icc Seminar. I wasn't part of that, but that was hosted by Mr. Paul Palchich and Mr. Tom Nicholson up north in Northampton.
Indeed.
Again, he always never disappoints, really. I've heard it was really good. Lots of hard kicking drills. People not being able to walk for a long time. But first ever ICC International Competition course happened in Holland. Don't know where. Where in Holland?
I don't know.
Utrecht, I think it was. I may be wrong. Maybe completely wrong.
That sounds right. That'll do.
But yeah, with Master Willy van der Mortel, Grandmaster Boss, Mr. Thomas Barada, and
Master Jedut.
Yes, from Poland.
What a lineup!
Yeah, and I heard it was very, very intense. 12 hours of training over a weekend, and I'm sure it's I've heard that, especially the English contingent, they come back with brilliant ideas and something that they can take into their class and distribute to the whole of England Taekwondo. They had a whole host of ex and current world champions there. Saw a lineup. There's good 9-10 of them.
Excellent. So yeah, even a lot of the participants were world champions, and could do the seminar themselves.
They're there because they want to learn. That's why they're world champions. So
Indeed.
Keep on wanting more.
That's
knowledge.
it. You've always got to have that thirst for knowledge, haven't you? I think when that thirst dies, then you've got problems. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everyone has their kind of pauses and stuff like that, where motivation's lacking a little.
He comes every time we do.
Socks wants to be on Talk TKD.
Yeah, he should. He wants to join the crew. Come on, Socks.
It's our family cat. For those not watching the YouTube.
Last time we did it.
But anyway, all those world champions that are still there striving and pushing to try and learn more and be better themselves. That's worth noting. And as you say, that's possibly why they are world champions. That drive to keep training, keep pushing yourself. And obviously, everyone has those dips in motivation. Like it's you shouldn't feel guilty or bad if you think I need a rest, or whether it's just psychologically rather than physically. It's fine to have that. Obviously, you just need to manage your timetable, and if you've got a grading coming up, etc., and you feel that low, well then you've got to push through it, and that's what will make you and will make the experience worthwhile. Whether it's a tournament, if you're not feeling motivation, kind of tough. Yeah. But after that, if you set your goals, as Master Gale was saying on episode 6, and Stefan Tapilatu was saying on episode 5. So there's a common theme there. Set your goals, stick to them, go through the lulls, go through the highs, and then schedule in those breaks, those pauses. Not necessarily a pause, just if you're leading up to competition, you're training 6 days a week. Then my pause is I go back to training just twice a week, or 3 times a week.
I think the key words that you said, the buzzwords you said there, is professionalism, and that's something that I want to go on to. Professionalism not with your own training, with instructors in general. I was speaking when I was in Italy. I was speaking to Mr. Thompson from Vision TKD. I'm sure they won't mind me mentioning, but it was it's policy in Vision that each instructor has to be personal training qualified to level 1.
Excellent. And, for those people that maybe listening in a different country, like a personal trainer, like as an assistant, like as a gym worker or something like that, then you would need a level 2, etc. Qualification. It's like an MVQ kind of thing to be a gym trainer essentially. Which, but yeah, carry on.
Yeah, and I think it's a positive thing because it gets. So often I've been, in class and maybe an assistant instructor or instructor said, do 50 push-ups followed by 20 squats. And they have no idea, a lot of the time they have no idea what it's doing for the body and how it benefits their students in training. So, instructors are, in charge of people's bodies and, they could be doing them more damage than good. Not just for their, taekwondo techniques, but for their body in general. So I reckon it's a positive thing.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the extreme end. I think like at least the minimum is if you don't know how to train the body physically, then you're not going to get the maximum out of your students.
Yeah.
The more finely tuned your body is to be able to perform taekwondo, then the most you'll get out of the scenario, the training.
Yeah. Do you think professionalism in taekwondo instructing is generally good enough?
I think there's lots and lots and lots of taekwondo instructors. Some of them are fantastic, some of them are awful, and there's a medium in the middle. I think it varies. I think it funnels down from the top. If you have somebody that has high standards and expects a lot, then their students will be the same, etc.
Yeah, it's all on the for organisation as a whole. I think it's all about finding a good organisation with standards, standards for instructing, and if the least you can expect is for bad things to be disciplined. If bad instruction going on, then it can be monitored and stuff like that, and there's someone to at least talk to. I think that should be the bare minimum. But yeah, I think it's all about finding your own school and finding someone you can work with. So again, like not everyone is everyone's cup of tea. Some people prefer to be shouted at to be motivated, and have someone who's really enforcing. Some people like to be nurtured.
And it's the instructor's job to work out what type of person they are.
It is, yeah.
And obviously, you've got a class of people. You will have certain ways you can't teach everyone individually. But when you're going round, etc., you can be stern with some people, and some people you need to be more encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, it's in ITF England we're allowed to pick our coaches, and it's funny, not everyone.
Your inside coach, yeah.
Yeah, not everyone goes for the same coach for obvious reasons. There's not one coach that's, well, maybe someone has better knowledge, but some people have different styles. Like for me, I like someone to have. Put their arm around me and, tell me that I'm good and I can do it, motivate me. But you like someone shouting at you saying, you will do this, you will do that, and stuff like that. Yeah. So, it's, you've got to be flexible and, be able to, agile.
Agile as an instructor and a coach, flexible and work your way. I think that's a good analysis. Yeah. Obviously, there are quite a few coaches that will be heading off. There is the Unified ITF World Championships in Rimini, Italy.
Rimini, yeah.
this weekend or next weekend, etc. I don't believe there's any live streaming or anything like that we can watch, but best of luck to the guys that are going out from every country, and obviously England, as we are patriotic. It's a tough week managing the week sort of leading up to that competition. You want to keep training and make sure you're fresh, but not overwork yourself and manage your weight. It is hard work, and I wish the best of luck to all the guys out there. And maybe other people got some ideas on sort of pre-competition week training, etc. But let's move away from competitions. Let's keep it philosophical. So, standards of teaching, as you were talking about. Do you think that the breaking up of Taekwondo and the fact that there are lots of different associations and ITFs and styles almost, do you think that has had a derogatory effect on the standard of Taekwondo that's being taught everywhere? Or do you think that actually the standard of teaching across the board is fine, but it's just a different style?
Definitely has a negative effect. Football has one governing body called in England it's VFA, and they oversee all the...
I thought you were going to use FIFA, so like
no.
I was like, bad timing.
In England we have VFA, and all coaches have to adhere. They have to get their coaching badges before they can, coach a team, and they have to be CRB checked and stuff like that. But in Taekwondo, you can have your own organisation. You can just go out there and say, no, I don't want to do this coaching badges. Let's have my own organisation. Well, I can't be bothered to do that. Let's, don't bother with the CRB checking and stuff.
Well, the extreme level is you can do 6 months of classes. Think, go to JJB, buy a black belt.
Yeah.
Hire a badminton court in a leisure centre and advertise for some Taekwondo classes.
Yeah. So there's very little you can do to standardise it really, unless you say, unless the government says this is Taekwondo, this is who's leading Taekwondo, and he sets the rules. And if you're going to call yourself Taekwondo, then you have to.
That would cause carnage, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. There'd be.
Who's going to be the boss of Taekwondo? Wow.
Yeah.
Assassinations again. Here we go.
Vote for me. Vote for Mike Whitlock.
Mike Whitlock for president.
For president of Taekwondo. Don't laugh. Don't laugh into your water.
Yeah, just we've got these grandmasters that have led international associations. Let's go for a third, Dan.
That's another thing. Grandmasters. Should you be a grandmaster to run say the ITF, or could you have? Could there ever be a day where a master, a junior senior master, runs the ITF over grandmasters?
Probably not. I don't think that there's any reason why there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Or why there couldn't be, should I say? I don't think it should be not allowed. It should be the person with the best, organisational skills, etc. The skills to run an association are very different to the skills of doing Taekwondo. But at the same time, they are a ninth dan because they have that experience, and most of the time, to be the best at the job, having the most experience is a big advantage. And also, when you get to 7th, 8th, 9th dan, it becomes less about the, you're kicking and punching, and more what can you do for Taekwondo? So I would say, you're more likely to get a 9th degree if you're that way inclined, which would mean you're more likely to become the president of an ITF or WTF or whatever. So as I say, I don't think it should be disallowed, and I think that there could be a scenario where an 8th degree has, maybe come from like a business background or has got other skills that are useful for running an association. That maybe some of the other 9th degree sort of candidates that would be running for president wouldn't have. That's my take.
Yeah. Okay then, got a question for you. Question time.
Mm-hmm.
Should association, what's more important, to follow your vision of Taekwondo or for General's vision of Taekwondo, or what students want, as in, what a new white belt student would like?
I think, well, for a white belt student, it's our job to mould them, and they need to fit our. So I think the problem, if you
or say us as competitors, or us as the general say black belt population.
I think it's a there might need to be a compromise here and there, but they need to be small compromises. I think that Taekwondo as a martial art, as a core, as a way of improving us, people, society, whatever. That's the most important, and that definitely trumps athletes or people that want to compete, like the Taekwondo for the masses is definitely more important. But at the same time, Taekwondo, as I say, it's a balancing act. You need to keep to those core traditional values of a martial art and the General's teachings. But at the same time, society changes as well. Our morals change, and you need to kind of find a way of keeping society interactive with Taekwondo, so it doesn't become a stale, thing that kind of has come and died out. Like there is that, and that's what I think is the good thing about the General's philosophies in Taekwondo, is that they're not that specific. They're quite durable in that you can put them in most societies and they will make sense. People will agree with them, whatever society you're from. They're kind of universal, and hence that for me that's a good sign that will have longevity and will last, because they seem to be core values about humanity that we can keep, it's kind of the other things that we can mould in the association, the organisation of the place, that kind of needs to change and keep students and society interacted with.
Yeah. Answer my question.
Cool. Excellent.
But should we be saying that Taekwondo is Taekwondo? This is what we do. A punch is a punch, a kick is a kick, and like it or lump it. This is Taekwondo. Yeah.
Yes, I think we should. We should say yes. This is Taekwondo. This is the progression. This is the grading system to symbolise that progression. And
but should we almost sugarcoat? Should make exercises fun and kind of make the first kind of junior bit more fun and get them involved and make them grow to love the core what Taekwondo is? Or should we just
I think that breaks down onto what your definition of Taekwondo is, because for me, as a kid, it wasn't as hard, not as much as expected of me as a kid as it was then, and it was fun. And I understand what you're saying in that, like the traditional way of teaching, the way that the General taught it would have been very different to the way that I teach my junior classes. So yeah, I see your point. I see, and that's the thing. I think so. For me, like the core of Taekwondo is the morality and the end product of having a good person that fits into society, is functional, etc. If the and the training and the manner in which there are the patterns and the set movements, but the delivery, I think, is flexible and depends very much on the person. And as we were talking about earlier, like it's your job to get the most out of your student or instructor. Your student or the athlete. So if you have a bunch of 4-year-olds and you want to teach them the morals and have that end product that Taekwondo kind of, well, not an end product, but obviously because it's a forever going journey, but these are the kind of morals that we want to instill in you. Like, okay, what's the best manner in which to do that? Okay, it's a bunch of 4-year-olds, let's break them in gently and build them up as people. Yeah, and I think if you did come in, general style, military style, then I don't think you would get the most out of those kids. But yeah, but it is a happy medium, isn't it? Because you need to stay core to those principles and being taught too sternly and being pushed is a core part of Taekwondo, and being a human and living, you will be asked to push yourself, etc. And you can prepare yourself for that through Taekwondo classes. And I think that the danger is if you mould yourself too much to nicey, softly, then you can miss out on that other bit that I think is a core part of Taekwondo as well. So as I say, it's like a happy medium of both for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like you can't just go bang, be good, or get out or whatever. You kind of. I remember someone's first class. He was there and he was kind of like fiddling around and stuff like that. Instructor went, "Oh, you stop doing that," and obviously having no idea about the courtesy and integrity. I think he just had his arms folded or something like that. And in my opinion, I don't think that was right. I think you should, almost kind of break them in softly, saying, in Taekwondo we tend to do this, not to single you out.
Yeah, this is because it's pointless telling him off because he's not being disrespectful. It's just ignorance. He doesn't know. Yeah. So your job is to inform him. And you say, oh yeah, in Taekwondo, when you're lining up, you need to, go forward and keep yourself very straight. And they'll go, oh, okay, cool. And they'll do it. Yeah, rather than have a go. It's like, well, hang on, I'm not being this. I think we should only, challenge somebody like that, if they're intentionally being disrespectful or disruptive, etc. If it's just an ignorance thing, they don't know better, it's your job. Just teach them. You don't need to shout at them. Definitely, I agree.
Yeah, and I can't see. I think Taekwondo would die if you don't have any kind of games or anything like that for kids, and making it fun for them as well. I'm personally all for making Taekwondo fun because the core syllabus is very dry. The core syllabus of Taekwondo.
Yeah, if you just stick
to
patterns, if you did patterns and line work, for the full class twice a week, you probably wouldn't have too many students. Yeah, but that's not a general talk, though, is it?
No, it's not. But it's interesting with kind of general perceptions. The core of football is for a lot of people fun, and just practicing football, getting a ball, having a game is fun. But I think Taekwondo just kind of going through patterns is very I don't know. Some people it's very Marmite. Some people love it. Some people hate it. But I think you just got to break them into why you're doing patterns and why.
Yeah, explain it fully. Yeah. I mean, Yeah, like the thing is, I think if you were just doing line work and patterns, you're not teaching taekwondo. You're teaching a small part of it. But I see what you mean. That like that you do see that in places, and you like it's
The opposite.
I can't stand it if you go to a taekwondo school and they can do like a lovely chonji, dosan, whatever, but like you go right throw a jab cross on the pads and they can't throw a decent, left right combination. I think if you're a black belt in any martial art, you need to be able to throw a left and a right straight. Like it's to be able to defend yourself, and yeah, I think if you are not doing that, then you are not teaching all of Taekwondo. Yeah, and when you go back to like the games thing that you said as well, I think I say it's the style of training. Like yeah, there need to be times where you kind of let the kids you just change the tone of the class because, like we say, games. It's not like you're playing tic-tac-toe or pin the tail on the donkey. You're doing a different style of training, but a more creative, style for. So yeah, like I do. If I do, so I do like 20 minutes of solid patterns with them, then I'll go on to get them to take their belts off, tuck them in their trousers, and play like snatch the belt and stuff like that. That is kind of. It changes the tone. They don't have to concentrate so much. They're doing something different, but they're still learning, to move, to dodge, etc. Even if you just play bulldog, like running up and down and trying to tag the other person, like you're learning agility. They're getting fitness, spatial awareness, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like I think you need to change the tone, and more so for juniors than adults. Yeah.
What about in big associations? Could you afford to have, associations where it's kind of like an open door policy? You pay to do like say Puma. You pay to do 2 days a week. Then you can train in any Puma school.
Mm.
Could you afford to have someone who's kind of teaches kind of more sparring and stuff like that? You have instructors that pretty much only teach sparring, like all throughout the month and do like one pattern session. Could you afford to do that and have someone like else in the association nearby who kind of does kind of more traditional stuff and
Yeah, well, I think that does happen. Associations have a variety of people that have that
specialisms.
Yeah. Everyone has their specialties. There are people that break. There are people that are good at like better at patterns or better at this thing or the other. And yeah, I think a lot of associations do kind of have that. Obviously you need to be loyal to your instructor, but you can complement that training with other like this way. I think as long as it's as well as, then it's okay. And both instructors know, and permission is being given by both instructors, which is the policy in Puma. Basically, in Puma, if you're a paying regular training member of one instructor school, if you ask your instructor and you ask the instructor that you would like to visit beforehand, before you go, and you say, look, can I come down for a few classes? They both say yes, then you can go, and it's no extra charge, which I think is great, and I think is, I think quite a few associations have got that, yeah, I think it's silly not to, because it's impossible to be the best at everything. You're just not, and if your instructor is more patterns orientated, but you want to try a bit of breaking, and somebody down the road has been doing breaking a bit more than your instructor, and both are happy, then if they want to improve themselves,
others,
exactly, yeah, if they're seeking to improve themselves, then I think the instructor would be doing them a disservice if you stopped them, as long as it's respectful and as I say, on top of extra training,
I just think there's so many components to Taekwondo that it's hard to be, I suppose a lot of people are jack of all trades or masters of none. And some people are masters of one trade, you know, and not so proficient in others.
It's natural, yeah.
So it's good to have the variety within the organisation.
Definitely. Yeah. So I think we're going to call that time. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, episode 7, Talk TKD. Please share us on Facebook. I do have a Twitter, but I never use it. I'm really bad, but I will try and sort that out. I did promise the website would be up and running soon, not too long ago. It's nearly there. I've been very busy. But I will get that up and running. So on to our sponsors, snapmehappy.com. They came to my taekwondo school on Sunday. We had a fantastic time. They bought a green screen, put that behind us, took like all the individual photos of all the kids, and they had a printer there, the computer, put like the background, Whitlock Martial Arts, etc. We had a fantastic time. The kids had a fantastic time, brought their medals in, did some different poses and kicks and stuff. And had a printer, printed them out as people bought them there and then. I'm going to get a link soon, and then people can pick the photos and they say, right, can I have photo 18 with photo 23 with that background? And they'll send you a copy of it in a frame, and email you the digital copy without the watermark. It was fantastic. Honestly, it's great just for like the bonding for your club. Make sure when you do book them, which you can do through our website, if you contact us through Facebook, Talk TKD, or email me or whatever. We can direct you to them, or if you go on the snapmehappy.com, was it .co.uk? Either, well, you'll find it. Website, if you fill in a contact form, they'll get back to you. Just need to say that you heard from Talk TKD, so that they know that they're getting some support through us, which will give us some cash and support us doing this podcast, and taking the time to do it. We've got True Warrior, warriorforlife.co.uk. Check it out. Lots of equipment. Super Fight Series. They're going to have some announcements coming up soon enough. And that's it. Peace and love. Taekwondo. Keep training hard. Mike?
Yeah, bye.
Ciao.